What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 16, Matchmaking in Nashville. So this is the matchmaking special. It is 2 hours of almost hardly anything because it's just in the beginning. The first hour, it's just a bunch of meeting all the potential candidates, and half of those people, or more than half of those people, we're not going to ever see again. So what is the point? Married at First Sight Australia gets down to business on episode 1. Episode 1 is the weddings. Okay, it is the weddings, episode 1. But Married at First Sight America, we got to go all the way back to the beginning of time and slowly work our way forward. So the first hour of the show, let's forget about that because it really doesn't matter. But that's where we meet some of our final candidates. Now let's get into the second hour of the show when the experts have matched their people. Now the matchmaking special, it doesn't give me a lot to work with. So all of my opinions and assumptions are just based on very surface information about these people and just my gut reactions. So most likely, my opinions will completely do a 180 as I get to know the people a little bit better. But just on first impression, let's get into it. The first couple that I want to talk about is Gina and Clint. So Clint is kind of giving me Mitch, San Diego Mitch. He's a very outdoors. He's not an environmentalist. He's not an extreme anything, but he's very outdoorsy. He likes being outside. He likes being on his boat. He likes to go, I think he flies his own planes. He likes to travel. So he's full of life. He likes to live a life of adventure. Okay. Very outdoorsy. And he said that he prefers a woman that is a little bit more natural. Okay. That's kind of reminded me more so of Mitch, and it kind of got me worried. Okay. I kind of got panicky because the woman that they matched him with is Gina. Now, Gina looks to be about in her, she's 35 years old. Clint is 40 years old. So while Clint is outdoorsy, adventurous, he likes a natural woman, Gina is a salon owner. Now, I don't know if she herself is a stylist or if she's just the owner of the building and rents out the chairs. But if she is a stylist, now I don't want to generalize stylist into saying that they can't be down to earth and they can't be natural and earthy or whatever. They probably can, but it just, first impression, because of her occupation and because of how she looked, she wasn't giving off beachy vibes. Okay. She wasn't giving off outdoorsy vibes. She was completely done up. She had makeup. Her hair was fixed. She's a salon owner. There was a scene where, this was the scene where I think it was Pastor Cal that came and told her that they had found a match for her. So she was in this, I guess she's building another salon or another building or something. They were in this like half constructed building, and she had on her power suit and her nails were done and she had on the makeup. So she did not look natural, outdoorsy, hair tousled in the wind. She did not look like that at all. But that's, I don't know. This is where Married at First Sight comes across as very gimmicky, where it's like, okay, let's put these people who we know are not going to get along. Let's put them together and let the hilarity ensue. And I don't like that. I don't care for that. It's a waste of everybody's time and it looks really forced, but who knows? So my first impression of Clint and Gina is, I don't think this is going to work out. And also Clint is he looks very dated. Like, what decade is he from? He looks very 70s, early 80s, with that full shaggy beard and the shaggy hair. He doesn't look like something of this decade. I like Clint. I think he has pretty eyes, but he just doesn't look like, men don't look like that anymore. They looked like that during the time when we had to be quarantined and the barbershops were all closed down and nobody could go get a haircut. And so everybody was looking like, wild cavemen. But it's like, Clint, quarantine is over. The barbershops are open. I don't know if you're just not into getting little trims or what's going on here, but I guess it's great that they matched him with someone like Gina. Someone, maybe when she sees him, you know, she'll have the urge to pull out her scissors and start snipping away. He doesn't need to get rid of the beard completely. He doesn't have to cut his hair extremely short, but I would expect like a little trim. But then again, we're going to see how he cleans up on their wedding day. So I don't think this is a match. He's outdoorsy, adventurous, likes to be outside all the time. She doesn't seem that way. She seems a little bit, you know, like she likes to be kept, and she likes to, you know, put on her face and fix her hair and do her nails, and, you know, she doesn't look like an outdoorsy type of chick. So I don't understand what's going on there. Moving on to our next couple, which is Chris and Nicole. Now, it took me a while to remember who the hell Chris was, but the most memorable thing about Chris is that he lost the tip of his middle finger in some type of I think it was a work-related accident. So that kind of reminded me of who Chris was. Other than that, Chris was not very memorable. Now, on the other hand, Nicole was extremely memorable because she came across as extremely annoying to me. She was extremely chatty. She was very extroverted. She's a marketing rep, and so it clearly shows that she's into marketing, because I'm assuming people who are into marketing are very they're people persons. You know, they like to be around people, and they like to talk a lot, and they like to engage people, and they like to draw people in, and, you know, it's just a bit much for me. So she's extremely chatty. Like I said, a little bit on the annoying side, and her soon-to-be husband, her fiance, whatever you want to call it, Chris, he just wasn't very memorable for me. Now, another thing about Chris, when Pastor Cal came to tell him that he was chosen for the show, that they found a match for him, he tells Pastor Cal that he met a girl at a bar. This woman approached him at the bar, gave him her phone number, and it looked like he wasn't going to be on the show. It looked like he was going to turn down Married at First Sight to pursue this real life interest. But he decided to decline her and move forward with the show. And I hope that this is not going to be a decision he's going to end up regretting later, because I don't really see Chris and Nicole as being a match. I don't really see it. I don't think introverts and extroverts on this show pair well. I don't think they pair very well at all. But we'll see how it goes. But this is another couple that I'm kind of shaky on. He seems very, I'm not saying he's an introvert, but he's not on the level of, he's not on the level of excitement as she is. She is up there. Now, the one that they were going to match Chris with, which I think her name was Emma. She was a catering manager. Cute girl, blonde hair, really adorable. I thought she would have been a better match for Chris than Nicole, but they said that Emma was too she has very, was it Emma? No, they said that Emma was too politically driven. Like, she has some very, very extreme political views, and she was really into politics, and they didn't really see Chris as someone who would have the interest or the time to debate with her or to talk about politics. In fact, he was the complete opposite, didn't care anything about politics. She was very passionate about the things that she believed in, and so that's why they didn't think that they were a very good match. That's why they paired him off with Nicole, and I'm like, okay, I mean, if y'all say so, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Moving on to Mac and Dominique. This was a very interesting pair. So Mac, short for McKinley, he's 34 years old. He's an entrepreneur. And when he said he was an entrepreneur, Pastor Cal asked him, basically in a nutshell, do you really have money, or are you out here struggling, calling yourself an entrepreneur? Because we know how that goes. People are like, oh, I have my own business, but they're not making any profits. So he says no. He says he's doing financially well. He says that he sees himself as a provider for his family, his future family. He says that it's going to be up to his wife if she wants to work or not. She doesn't have to. She doesn't want to. It's whatever she wants to do, because he says he makes enough for everybody. He is the provider. He is good in that department. We don't have to worry about him there. I hope so. I really, really hope so. So they matched him with Dominique, who, now Chris, how old is Chris? Not Chris. What's his name? Mac. McKinley. They matched McKinley McKinley is 34. They matched him with 25-year-old Dominique. 25-year-old Dominique. Okay. They mentioned to us, the experts mentioned to us, I think it was Dr. Pepper. She says that Mac is open to dating women outside of his race. And they said that he would make a great match for Dominique because Dominique has an African-American mother and a white stepfather, so she's open to dating white men. Now, I don't know how Dr. Pepper made the connection that just because her mother is married to a white man, that Dominique herself would also be interested in being married to a white man. I didn't see how that connected, but Dr. Pepper evidently did. And so that's why they matched him. And I'm not saying that she's not into white men. Maybe she is. Maybe she doesn't really care. Maybe she's open to anything. But the way that Dr. Pepper was like, well, her mom married a white guy, so she must like white guys. I just didn't understand. Dominique is only 25 years old. I have an issue with people that young being on Married at First Sight because in general, on average, not all, but some young people, I don't think they're really ready for marriage. When I think at 25, you're very much still discovering who the hell you are. And I understand people can get married at 19, 18, 17 years old and they stay married for the rest of their lives. I get it. They stay married until they're 90 years old. I understand that. But I think in this culture, in today's age, that's kind of hard to come by. A 25-year-old who's ready for that kind of commitment and responsibility. But she says she has an old soul and she primarily dates older men because she finds they are more emotionally mature. So this might work. Now, she says she has an old soul. She says that she dates primarily older men. I don't know if Mac is old enough for her. He's only 34. He's not even a full 10 years older than her because she's 25. So when she said, I like to date older men because they're more emotionally mature, I'm thinking she likes to date guys like who are in their 40s. But maybe 34 is old enough for a 25-year-old. I didn't get, nothing about her struck me as, oh my gosh, she's so mature for her age. I'm not going to say she's immature, but to me, she's like a typical 25-year-old. Okay, she's like a typical 25-year-old. It didn't strike me like, oh my Lord, she is so mature for her age. Like she has her own house and she has her own company and she's got several companies and she's running them all. Nothing about her screamed out extremely mature for a 25-year-old. It didn't scream that out to me. So I hope it's going to work out for them. Yeah, my only issue with them is the age thing. And I'm going to assume that she's into dating white men. Now, when Dr. Pepper said that, for some reason, I thought of Ashley Darby and Ashley and Michael Darby from The Real Housewives of Potomac, because Ashley is a younger, attractive, biracial woman who likes to date older white men. I'm not saying that Dominique only dates older white men. I don't know what type of older men she likes to date, but for some reason I thought of that. And I hope that she doesn't date older men because of, you know, financial security or dating them for their money, you know, or anything like that. I hope that she is really genuine when she says that she dates older men because she feels like they're more emotionally mature and more on her level, you know, on the maturity scale. I hope that's the reason why. Let's move on now to Kristen and Shaquille. Kristen and Shaquille might be the couple that I have the most concern about, next to Gina, the salon owner, and Clint, the outdoorsman. I'm kind of worried, sort of, with Kirsten, and Shaquille. Kirsten is a real estate agent. Very beautiful, very attractive woman. She seems very accomplished, poised. It's like, what's so scary, though, is that she's 32 years old. On paper, on the surface, when you look at her, your first impression of her is, wow, this woman is gorgeous and she's interesting and she's funny and she's full of life. And why is she struggling in that department of finding a mate? So it makes you question what is really lying underneath that pretty face. So she says she is a woman of faith, Faith is very important to her, which is good because I think Faith is also important to Shaquille, I think. They're both very family oriented. They want to have a family. She knows exactly what she wants, and she wants 7 to 8 inches at least. Okay, let's keep that where that's at. And Shaquille, I just don't know if Shaquille is, if he's enough for Kirsten. When I say enough, I'm referring to just like manly enough. Masculine enough. He seems very, to me, just like really metrosexual to me. And I don't know if that's what Kirsten is looking for. Because when Dr. Pepper goes to tell Shaquille that they found a match for him, he's in the fabric store looking for fabric. And I guess he was in the fabric store because he also, they said that is he a business consultant? They gave him some really grandiose title. I didn't write it down. He's a university, I think he's a university director. I'm not sure. But whatever he does, he's very professional. Okay, he has a very professional job. And he also likes to make bow ties as well. But he's very soft spoken. He seems to be very low key. And I don't know if he is exactly like really man enough for Kirsten. He might be. I don't know. This particular match, I didn't have a lot of confidence in. I didn't get a lot of confidence with Kirsten and Shaquille. So we'll just leave it at that. And then finally, my favorite couple, Jasmine and Eris. Now, they're my favorite couple, not necessarily because they got it going on like that, but because with what I got to work with, what I had to work with, I find like maybe this couple has the most potential. So Jasmine is, how old is Jasmine? Jasmine is 32 years old, and she is a competitive cheerleading coach. So she works with children. Eris is 39 years old, but he's an easy 39, not a hard 39. He's an easy 39 because you look at Eris and you will swear that he is 29 years old in looks and also in attitude and demeanor. He's not like crazy silly, but something about him just comes off as a whole lot younger than 39. When we meet Eris, Dr. Pepper goes to his home and she wants to see his damn closet. So he opens up the door. It looks like there's nothing in there. There's like 1 or 2 t-shirts hanging in the closet. The rest of his clothes were in a bag folded, but folded really nicely. So he said that his mother folded his clothes for him, which was kind of like a tiny, tiny little red flag. Why is your mother folding your clothes for you and you're 39 years old? What the hell is going on here? I don't know if this man lives with his mother or if his mother just does his laundry for him and drops it off or he goes to pick it up. I have no idea. But that was like a tiny little red flag. You're 39 years old. Why is your mom doing your laundry? He's very young looking, extremely young looking, which is fine because Jasmine herself is very young looking. They both are they like children. She works with kids in cheerleading, and he's a software developer, and he's involved with bridging the gap between minority communities and the tech world. And so his main thing is exposing young children of color to the world of technology. So he likes to work with children as well. They had a lot in common. They're both family oriented. They both want to have a family. What I liked about Eris is when he said that he wants to be his wife's super fan, and he wants his wife to be his super fan. He wants he wants him and his wife to really be there and support each other all the time and cheer each other on through this journey called life. So I think because even though he's 39, he's a very young 39, extremely young 39. And Jasmine is 32, but she also, comes across as, a little bit younger than her age. So it looks like they're both like, maybe they're like a kid at heart, both of them. And they want to have fun and they want to enjoy life. But then Eris, hopefully the more we get to know you, a little bit more of your maturity will show through. I hope so. So that's it. Those are our couples for season 16. I hope I didn't leave anything out. Oh, let's talk about Chris real quick. Chris and Nicole. So Chris was asked by the producers, what do you think your wife's name is? And he accurately guessed the name Nicole. And he says, I don't know. I just see her as being a Nicole, and I see her with brunette hair. And she is. Her name is Nicole, and she's got brunette, and she's a brunette. So I thought that was really uncanny that he was able to nail her down like that. Yeah, that's it. Not a lot to work with, but it is what it is. Those are just my first impressions. So the couple that I'm kind of rooting for is Eris and Jasmine, because they're kind of adorable together. They look really adorable. They both, you know, are just really adorable together. And the couple that I'm most worried about is probably going to be Clint, the outdoorsman, and Gina, the salon owner. That might be the couple that I'm most worried about. But anyway, we'll see what happens in this season. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.